Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 10.1. Now this 16GB Wi-Fi only tablet is priced at $399.99. There are two different colors to choose from. You can go with either white or the gold brown variation we'll be looking at today. And those are actually the standard colors now for all of the 3rd gen Galaxy Tabs, whether you go with the 7, 8, or this 10.1-inch model. So what are you getting for $399.99? Essentially, beyond the 16 gigs of internal storage as well as dual band Wi-Fi, you're looking at a WXGA 1280 by 800 resolution screen, which is a PLS display, which is significant because after all, that is Samsung's proprietary technology, really to one-up IPS, and quite frankly, in my opinion, it does on many levels. So I expect good things out of this display, despite the fact that it's not playing the pixel density game. In terms of processor, you're looking at a 1.6 gigahertz dual-core Intel Atom chip. And yes, you heard right, this is the first Android product to hit the States driven by an Intel processor. And that's the same dual-core Atom you'll find in many budget Windows 8 tablets and hybrids. So essentially what you're looking at here may perform really well or not so great. Not sure what type of performance we're going to get out of this processor. Haven't benchmarked it yet, and I really literally have had no experience with an Intel Android experience. So excited about that, but keep in mind this is a mid-tier tablet, so the fact that Intel's in the mid-tier slot certainly doesn't speak to it being an above-average performer. That's what Samsung's Note lineup is all about. That's where you see the highest end specifications, but I'll get to that a little bit later. In terms of operating system, we're looking at Jelly Bean version 4.2.1 out of the box, with an assured upgrade to 4.22, the latest version of the operating system in the not-so-distant future. You do also get the value-added infrared universal remote control, which is a great feature, standard across all of the 3rd gen Galaxy Tabs, so that's definitely nice to have. In terms of cameras, front-facing, we've got a 1.3 megapixel on the front, 3 on the back, full HD recording, and of course playback. That's something to be expected on a tablet at this price point in 2013. In terms of certification, we have down here on the bottom, of course, Bluetooth 4.0. I'm pretty sure it's 4.0. Wi-Fi, as I mentioned before, dual band, so that's good. You've got 2.4 gigahertz as well as 5 gigahertz, so you're able to leverage most of the dual band new routers out there. DivX HD certification, nothing new there. DLNA, some Dolby certification for the actual audio experience, and also I want to point out that 6800 milliamp battery, which is a very large battery for this tablet, so we should see some very solid battery life out of it. Of course, that'll really depend on how well that Atom processor does. So with that said, let me get it out of the box. One other thing I want to point out, only 1 gig of RAM on this tablet, so another clear sign that the Galaxy Note brand is reserved for Samsung's flagship high-end tablets. But if you've been following, Samsung and the Galaxy Tab lineup, then you pretty much already know that. But it's interesting to see the way things are taking shape now as they have really grown into one of the largest tablet manufacturers in the world. So let me get this thing out of the box. I know you guys listened to enough on the specifications. Let me get the seals cut here. And I do like the fact that Samsung does actually use the those seals to let you know that the product has not been tampered with, which you can see I just broke the seal right there, and that's something no one else is really doing. I'm not sure why. I do think it should be standard practice because in this day and age, too often do we see products being sold as new that are not. So good to see they've done that. Now that I've gotten the seals out of the way, let's go ahead and get this bad boy out of the box. And as I stressed before, keep in mind, $399.99 retail right now may seem steep, but with time, the price of this tablet is going to decline. So you have to understand the approach here. This is really, as I keep re-emphasizing, I won't call it a budget tablet, but it's certainly a middle-of-the-road in terms of specifications. You're really looking for a tablet that can do just about everything, but it's not going to be top of the line. It's just as simple as that. So again, the specifications I've gone over. Didn't really discuss watch on. That's part of the infrared feature capability. Not going to get into that today. There's that front-facing 1.3 megapixel camera. Interesting new addition to the 3rd gen Galaxy Tabs is that now we've got some physical buttons, pretty much, again, borrowing from the S4. You've got your back home button and the menu button. So nice to see them integrate that. Up in the right hand corner, you guys can see we've got what I believe is just an air bubble. I thought for a second that was a ambient light sensor, but clearly those are usually in the array right here in the center cluster. So, but that was just a bubble. As usual, Samsung covering the tablet in as much plastic as possible. Let me get that actually off so you guys can see how reflective everything looks without anything on it. Interesting that this actually has black on it. Never saw them do that before, but I guess that's new for them. Very reflective, no question about it. But I kind of expected that. That's not really anything new. Let me get the the back plastic off here. I'm not even seeing a good thread to pull it off, but get it off right now. And basically, in my opinion, this tablet is just going to continue to present a great value over time. You know, I don't think it'll be too far off. I just got all of the extra plastic there off the back. Fingerprint. You know, it is high gloss, so I'm expecting a magnet, but you guys can see it's not really leaving too much there, so that's a good sign. But plastic, as usual, no flash here for the back camera. I didn't mention one, so don't be surprised. You do have down at the bottom of the tablet, if I can get it into focus here, a micro USB port, which is another deviation from the previous generation, which is definitely a good thing. It does also support USB host. So really a lot more flexible than last gen, and you can charge from there as well. So another good standardization, no more proprietary business. You can now charge using the same micro USB plug or adapter that you've been using for your respective cell phone, even if it's not, of course, a Samsung one. In terms of the right side of the tablet, we have one speaker there, which I'm going to attempt to get into focus. See if I actually move the box out of the way. That might assist us slightly here. And basically, they've moved away from giving us the front-facing, front-firing speakers that we have with the Galaxy Note 10.1. Still trying to get it into focus here. But they essentially flank the sides of the tablet. There you can see that one on the left side. And haven't tested the audio obviously yet since it just came out of the box, but I still expect really good sound despite the fact that the location seems less than ideal, considering I know everyone was quite enamored with the front-facing speakers. You see we've got the headphone jack right there on the left-hand side, and then as we move around to the top, we have our micro SD card slot for storage expansion, our power or backlight button right there, and volume rocker and the infrared emitter in order to use this tablet as a universal remote, which is really just a great added bonus, as I've already mentioned. Something that not every tablet manufacturer is affording right now. In fact, most are not. So that pretty much covers the actual tablet itself. Let me go ahead and see what else we have in the box here. This is all made out of recycled paper. I want to point that out. It seems we have some paperwork boxed up in here, as well as our charger, standard micro USB with the actual wall adapter. So that's pretty much it. Not a tremendous amount here. Pretty minimal and kind of representative of the fact that we're dealing with a relatively minimal tablet. You know, this isn't the bottom of the line. It's in the middle. Certainly going to perform, I think, to the standards that most people will expect. And it's really solid despite the fact that it's plastic and there's no textured feel here on the back. But anyway, pretty much covers the unboxing. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.